Well, if you guys want to come in a little closer in case it shorts out. This truly is. This truly is the fight of our generation. We gotta quit acting and thinking like we're dealing with honest people.
There you go.
Yeah. That's a fact.
Our opponents have created conditions that are going to be very difficult to prosecute because they've legalized it. Why did Mark Zuckerberg put $400 million into the hands of officials that preside over our elections? Why did George Soros give millions of dollars to fund the campaigns of county attorneys all over this country?
Yeah.
Clear.
Why did we have and permit ballot harvesting by Illinois Omar in Minnesota?
There you go.
Why are we not requiring voter identification
Absolutely.
and signature verification? And why were the deadlines of the acceptance of ballots changed all in this last year?
Yeah.
The greatest travesty. Why have we allowed mail-in ballots that cannot be verified? Why? Why would you get rid of state-mandated signatures? Why? Months before this election, that happened in Pennsylvania. Why would you forbid Republican observers from watching the ballot count?
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. This was planned.
Yeah.
This whole thing was planned and orchestrated for months before it ever took place. And we have to deal with that reality. We're dealing with dishonest people who want to control and manipulate, define and shame us into silence and submission
Yeah.
at the cost of our constitutional freedom and self-determination and the freedom of our children. Now, President Trump warned us in the debate. He said, look, there's massive fraud coming our way. Was he right?
Yeah.
It sure looks like it. It looks like it when we have an election with a guy who never left his house generating 3 million more votes than Barack Obama in 2008 or any president in history.
Yeah.
We can't be naive and foolish enough to believe that this process is not without flaws, that it is not subject to corruption. It obviously, clearly is. They have created and have now institutionalized fraud.
Yeah.
You know what they do? They criminalize us over policy differences. We're called deplorables, right?
Yep.
We're called irredeemable by a woman who ignored a federal subpoena for 30,000 emails and bleached her own server.
Yep.
The criminals are calling the innocent criminals. Their use of pejoratives about us is on every major media platform constantly. We are marginalized and degraded in every imaginable way on mainstream media, in Hollywood, in social media. Why? To silence us, to take away our voice.
No more. No more.
And now, their intimidation has now reached the point where violence is acceptable. Now violence gets a pass from these people. What does this mean to our children? Submit to us or we will hurt you. That's what we're giving them. If you want to know where they intend to take our children, look at what they've done. Is this working? They now control all the media outlets. They control social media, they control Twitter, they control Amazon, they control Google, they control YouTube. Why? Because these people see truth as a threat. They don't want you to have the truth because truth threatens their power and control over us as a free people. And they don't want it because it limits them. Ask yourself a couple questions. Who wants to limit where and how you can travel under the Green New Deal?
No.
Do you know what that means? They get to define where you go and how you get there.
Yep.
Who wants to take away your Second Amendment rights? Who wants to forbid free speech on college campuses?
Already happened.
Who demands more tax dollars from your paychecks than from fixed income seniors? Who refuses to define a baby as a human being? You know, somehow, every time you disagree with these people, you're something less than human. And they want to define you. And they refuse to acknowledge the boundaries of your self-determination. They want no restrictions on how much they can control you. Because here's an ugly truth. Whoever defines you is God to you. You want to know what they want to do? They want to be God. And it's time we said to them, who made you God?
There you go.
Who made you God? Right? Is that why you took him out of your national platform? Is that why you cringe at the name and mention of Jesus Christ? Maybe. I think so. Jesus made us to be free, and he made us to be individuals. That's why none of us is alike. And that's why we should know that it was always his intention that we have self-determination. Our liberty is under siege, and we cannot and should not sit back and passively watch what's going on. Passivity is acceptance. It's affirmation of those things we know to be morally wrong. We've witnessed its effects on our culture for the last 4 decades. We were given an inheritance of freedom. We have the responsibility and need to pay the price of freedom to ensure that it's given to our children and our grandchildren. And along the lines of what Jacob said, it is incumbent on us to urge every congressman, senator, state legislator, and governor to stand in unity with our president so that we have transparency, so that we have a real election, because if we don't, we are betraying our children. We are betraying their freedom. And it could be for generations to come. This is a war. This is an ideological war. Our freedom, our dignity, and our humanity is at stake. You know, Ronald Reagan said 40 years ago, we must fight. If we do any less, if we don't meet this responsibility, we're selling our own children and their freedom into slavery. None of us can live with that. That's why we're here. So please, whatever you can, stand up for your boundaries, your dignity, call your legislators, get engaged any and every way you can. And if you can't think of a way, ask God. He will give you a way. Thank you.